Hello, my Greek Islanders. We are back. We are refreshed and we are ready to bring you new episodes of this podcast.
The My Greek Island podcast with your hosts George Tsunias
and Maria Petrakou.
So, if you're wondering where we've been, you clearly have not been following us on Instagram. So, stop whatever you're doing and head over to the gram to give us a follow at My Greek Island to keep up to date with all our adventures.
And on my side, I'm super curious if any of you got to Greece this summer. If you did, drop into our DMs or send us an email and tell us where you went, what you loved, and definitely what you would recommend to others. Also, if you followed any of our recommendations, either from Instagram or previous episodes of this podcast, please do let us know how you found them.
But what are we talking about today? Well, we did think that this is something we should have done much, much sooner, but we've kept it for now. And that is to tell you how these two amazing voices, I don't know, trying to be modest here, how these two amazing voices ended up being on the My Greek Island podcast. So without further ado, we're going to be sharing a little bit about Maria and George and who we are.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the My Greek Island podcast, dedicated to take you, the wanderlust, on a journey through Greece.
There are 227 inhabited Greek islands. Which one will you visit next?
My Greek Island with your hosts George and Maria.
Kalimera, Maria.
Kalimera, George.
So, you know from the title what you're getting today. We have a list of set questions for both of us to answer, followed by some personalized ones for you to get to know us just that little bit more.
Amazing. However, how about we start, before we dig into who we are, how about we start with how the idea of the podcast was actually born? And although I started the Instagram page My Greek Island a few years back, the podcast was actually George's idea. So, George?
Yeah, I was a bit of a late joiner to the My Greek Island party, but I was the brains about behind the podcast. However, let's be real, Maria, you've kind of been the main grafter, the editor, the producer. I just rock up, look pretty. We don't really look pretty because we're usually recording in the morning in our PJs. Some people might find that pretty.
You look gorgeous to me.
Thanks. Let's big each other up. But way before the podcast and My Greek Island is, how did we actually meet and become? Yeah, how did we become My Greek Island travel buddies? Do you want to give an insight to that? Because it's a bit of a random story.
Yeah, it is. So we met pre-pandemic at a common friend's birthday party. So thank you, Nina. So we've got a common friend in London, was having a birthday party. We went for a Sunday roast. George was sitting opposite me. I was instantly drawn to him. And although I must admit, I don't think he felt the same. And I think then pandemic happened. You were in Greece for God knows how long. And I think our common friend Nina said, "Oh, Maria, you're in Greece. Oh, George is also in Greece. Why don't the two of you meet up?"
Yep.
And I think Nina said the same to you as well, and you were too embarrassed to get in touch with me. So Nina actually called me and said he's too embarrassed to get in touch with you. And I said to her, just give me his number. And I think I texted you and said, so I'm going to an island. Do you want to come? And you panicked and said to me, I've never organized something last minute before. I'm very structured and organized and I can't do this. And also you said, what island? And I think I said Githira. And you said, but that's a 5-hour drive and I don't have a car. And I said to you, yeah, but it's also got an airport. Why don't you just come by plane and then I'll drive you back? Because I already had a car and I was cruising through the Peloponnese. And you were like, do you know what? I'm just going to come. And I remember the day you flew out, you weren't even sure if I was going to pick you up from the airport because you didn't know me. You didn't even
you
know
never
me
should
well.
go on holiday with basically a stranger, but I trusted that, if we had a common friend in Nina, so you couldn't be, how bad could it go? But yeah, I've never done that before, but the stars aligned, the universe wanted us to join forces and go become Greek island travel buddies. So that is the story. Sometimes it's good to go out of your comfort zone, and certainly did on that holiday. So turns out,
yeah, but we
are.
had an absolute blast, didn't
We did.
It was so much fun.
Yep.
And I think during the holiday, we sort of discovered that you lived next to my brother as well in London.
I know, how weird.
And I actually remember you saying to me, "Hun, you can't come to this area again without actually meeting up with me." And I'm like, okay. But now you've sort of become friends with my family too. So, yeah. And that's how we became My Greek Island Travel Buddies. And where we are today is just a natural or an organic evolution of that encounter.
Yep, very
random
nicely put.
encounter.
Yep. So let's get into the questions. Go straight into it. In a nutshell, who is Maria?
Ooh.
Who is she?
I have no idea. Well, that's not true. Okay, so some basics. Of course, my name is Maria, and you've probably already know that by now. My pronouns are she, her. I am of Greek-Cypriot heritage. I was born in London, and I have lived actually between London, Cyprus, and Greece. Now, I think if someone was to ask anyone who is Maria, they'd probably say she loves to talk a lot. She's a storyteller. So I'm going to say I'm a storyteller, I'm a traveller, and a foodie. So I'm just going to leave it there for now. How about you, George? Who is George Tsounyas?
Oh, this is so cringy because it sounds like something you upload on a Tinder profile or some sort of self-promo on LinkedIn.
Swipe right.
Swipe
right, guys. Swipe right.
I'm cringing already, but here goes. So I'm George. I am half Greek, half English. Born in Greece, but grew up in the UK. And my pronouns are he, him. And what else about me? That's pretty much it. The rest we'll find out as we go on. I'm bilingual, Greek and English, as you probably
I think that's going to be the next question.
It's a given.
So, you're a born bilingual, but how many languages does George speak?
So I speak 4 languages. Sounds more impressive than it is because Greek and English I grew up with. But I also speak French and Italian, and I'm on a quest to attempt to master a 5th, and that's Spanish. But it's quite similar to Italian and French, so it's not too hard. But yeah, and what's really good with Maria, because we're both bilingual, I know we're going to come to you in a bit, but we pick and mix languages, so we can speak in English and Greek. And people might listen to it and be like, sounds a bit weird, like they're just chopping and changing, but it's quite fun.
Yeah, it is. And it's quite funny that I've been learning Spanish for years, and yet you understand it more than me.
But Spanish is so similar to French and Italian. It's just a bit of a mix because it all comes from the same roots. And I was probably a parrot in my previous life because I can just listen to people and then try and copy what they're saying. But fake it till you make it, basically.
You actually don't fake it when I think about it. You literally just you hear one thing once and then you repeat it. You are a parrot and then you remember it, which I find absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So what are you passionate about, Maria?
Other than travel? Well, I mean, George, you know the answer to this. I think my 2 biggest passions after traveling and food is actually social inclusivity and self-development. And I mean, I'm such a vocal and proud social inclusivity advocate. So, I mean, if anyone follows me on my personal profile, because I try to keep the 2 separate. I want to keep My Greek Island just about travel to Greece and beyond. I am quite the shouter of human rights. So
vocal.
Yeah, that's. I think that would probably sum that question up. What about you?
So in recent years, I've been really into running. So I can actually say I am passionate about running because if there's a week when I haven't run, I'm a bit like, okay, what do I do? So I do like running a lot. Also passionate about holidays. I love my holidays. And also I do like, as people like to point out, that I like putting the world to rights, and being quite vocal. And we have many conversations with us, well, between ourselves about all things around the world. And I do like having those discussions because it tests your own opinions and helps you grow your thinking. And there should always be room for critical thinking. So yeah, that's what I'm passionate about.
I actually think that that's probably one of our common denominators, George. It's definitely something that on the holiday that our first holiday in Gythira, it was definitely something that we spoke a lot about, and it was definitely something that I think connected us the most.
Agreed. Yeah. And you are a very strong advocate and ally, especially of the LGBT community. So kudos to you, even though we shouldn't be giving kudos, but you know.
Yeah.
So where is your favourite holiday spot in Greece?
Okay. My favourite holiday spot in Greece.
Or your favourite spot?
Okay, because that's different.
Oh, okay.
So my favourite spot in Greece, and it's definitely has to do with my university years because I actually studied in Athens. So I have such a huge soft spot for the city. I know it like the back of my hand. Also know London like the back of my hand, but like Athens, I have a huge soft spot for because I lived there during the most fun years of my life, which were my university years. So despite the fact that it's such a crazy city, it is actually the place in the whole world that I actually feel at peace. And there's a specific spot in the city that I absolutely love, and it is on the street Panepistimiou, which is not actually called Panepistimiou. It's called I think Eleftherios Venizelos Street. Although in the old years it used to be called Panepistimiou, and although the name of the street officially changed, the people still do refer to it as Panepistimiou. And there's quite a few streets like that in Athens actually. So on this street there's a specific point where there are three very historic buildings. The one is called the Academy, the other is the old university, and the third is the library. And the university, which is the middle building, is actually where I was given my university degree. So I think that's one of my favourite spots. I literally just go and I can sit there and just look at these three gorgeous buildings which have the most amazing architecture. And it's literally right in the smack bam in the city centre. It's got a lot of buzz, super busy street, but it's just so nice. So I think that would be mine. Where would yours be?
Well, surprisingly, mine is also not an island or a beach, although I do absolutely love the beach. My favourite spot in the whole of Greece, and I go there every time I'm in Athens, so it's in Athens, is Philopappos Hill.
Oh, yes.
Which is literally my favourite spot ever, and like it's the best at sunset, and it's the hill opposite the Acropolis. It's not the one where all the tourists are, but we will link in the episode description what the hill is, because it's such a good spot to go and sit there at sunset, because the sun sets and it like shines on the Acropolis. Or it's also really good really early in the morning at sunrise, and I've been a few times at sunrise, and there's people doing like yoga and stuff. It's just like there is something about that area around Athens that has sort of like some energy about it. That's probably why the Acropolis was built where it is. So that is my favourite spot, and anyone that goes to Athens has to go there.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. That would probably be my second favourite spot in Athens. And it has exceptional views, and it's such a nice hill. And if you walk around, it's just gorgeous. So definitely...
gorgeous.
Yeah, we've got a few videos from there. We need to create a reel.
We do. We do need to do a reel. We need to get on it. So on the topic of epic spots, and it kind of leads into the next question around holidays. What is your favourite holiday destination? Now, surprise, surprise, it doesn't have to be Greece.
Oh, I'm going to say Greece though.
Okay.
So I'm going to say surprise, surprise in Greece. It's Kanya. Who would have thought?
Oh,
only an island I've
Hanya.
been to like 15 times. But yeah, I think that would be my favourite in Greece. Should I add a non-Greece, or should we leave that for a bit later?
No, you chose the one you wanted. Chania is like your top destination.
Game over. Done.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about yours?
Well, I decided not to choose Greece because it would be the obvious answers to the question. One of my favorite holiday destinations so far has been Thailand. I just think the culture, the people, the scenery, the beaches. I mean, they don't rival as much the Greek beaches, but it's a different type of sort of beauty and beach in Thailand, like that tropical vibe. And yeah, it's just magical. So it is one of my favorite holiday destinations. I've only been there once. I would like to go again, but it is quite a long trip to make. But yeah, Thailand, and there's probably some that I haven't even discovered yet. So yeah.
Okay. Should we go move on to the next question?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what is your funniest memory of us together?
I'm glad that we have to prepare these podcasts because I had to actually sit down and think like what was quite funny. And for me, and we don't see each other's answers, so I don't know if you find it funny. It was funny for me. It was last year we were in Karpathos Island, which we will do an episode on, and we went on this hike that didn't seem too long, but ended up being really, really long, like 2 hours to get to this ancient
I think I know what you're going to say.
And it was going down the rocks, and it was all good and well, but we needed to get back to see a sunset. So long story short, we got down, we took some pictures of this like underground church, and it was all amazing, and Maria was loving it. It was kind of out of your comfort zone, but then we had to hike back up the mountain in like record time. And I remember Maria just being like, I'm literally a ruin, like I can't go on. And there was me trying to like lift the mood, having some K-pop, which is Korean pop music. And I think Maria was like, what the hell is going on? But I've actually got a video of like her climbing up the mountain and me listening to Blackpink, because if you don't know who Blackpink is, you need to get on the bandwagon. It's like high time. But yeah, that's a really funny story.
Yeah.
I don't think you found it very funny at the time.
No,
but it was for me.
I didn't. At the time, I didn't. I think at some point you actually asked me, Maria, how you feeling? And I responded in Greek, I'm a bloody ruin. I'm ruined. And you've got it on video. And when we watched it after the fact, it was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
I think that's one of our funny stories as well.
What's your one of us? What did you put?
So this year, I found it absolutely hilarious in Githnos. At some point, we headed back to the little apartment that we had rented, and you started working out, and you were grabbing like bottles of water to like do squats and stuff and use the bottles of water as weights. And you kept saying to me, Maria, join in. And I literally was like, yeah, cool, I'll join in. And I sat there watching you while I was eating biscuits, and you were getting annoyed.
Oh God! Well, you know, had to make do. I couldn't get any physical weight, so bottles of water would do.
Yeah,
that's funny. What's one random thing our followers don't know about you?
Okay, so I do not watch TV. I don't like TV. I consider it a waste of time. I'm not up to date with series. I don't watch half the stuff that people watch. I educate myself and I learn about what's going on in the world through other means. Television is not one of them. But during lockdown, I needed to fill up my time. So I didn't know what to do. And at the time I was like, okay, my grammar's good, but my listening is awful. So I signed up for Netflix. That was when I joined Netflix, and I like probably half the world, and started looking for any Spanish-speaking series. And that's when I became obsessed with Mexican telenovelas, which is called, I think the production company is called Telemundo or something. And I have watched every single Mexican series which is out. I know every single actor. I follow all of, I'm a huge fan, follow all of them. My Spanish teacher even like takes, she teases me. She takes the mickey, she teases me. And whenever she comes back and says to me, oh, Marie, you should watch this, of course, if you haven't already seen it. And I usually have already seen it. So I think that's a random thing that. And I know you are going
to Mexico next year. So maybe your own telenovela little, vlogging thing.
Telenovela? No, I'm going to go look for those actors.
Okay, cool.
What about you?
So on the theme of telly, totally unlike you, and this is something we never really discuss because my taste in TV watching is quite varied, but I am a reality TV junkie. Anyone who knows me, I watch all the trash. The trashier, the better, whether it's English, Greek, well, English or Greek. I don't watch other ones. But yeah, I'm a trash TV addict.
So I know
Yeah.
about the Greek.
It's
because...
chewing gum for the mind.
Yeah,
I just like to listen and watch, and I don't know. It's just escapism. It's not very good for my brain, but like I like to watch it. So
yeah, I sort of picked up on that because when you do come up with these random people, and I'm always like, who the hell's that? And you're like, did you not watch the so and so awards, or did you not watch like Greece's Next Top Model? And I'm like, no.
Oh yeah.
If Telemundo doesn't produce it, then no.
So if you could interview, hopefully not a Telemundo star, but a telenovela star. But if you could interview any person for this podcast,
right,
who would it be?
Do they have to be alive?
Oh, well, I mean, it doesn't have to be alive or not.
Okay, so if they're not in life, it would definitely be the shipping tycoon Aristotelis Onassis, because I want him to give me a private tour of his island Scorpios.
I think I've seen that. Is it in the Ionian?
Yeah, it's next to Lefkada.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Otherwise, those that are alive, I'm gonna throw three names out. One is Katerina Katopis, which I think all of her pictures went into the Maison Assoulin book called Greek Islands. And she is an exceptional, her account on Instagram is exceptional. Her photographs, her stories are absolutely amazing. And then two other droners, which I absolutely love. They're both they live in Chania. One is a guy called Nikos Zanidakis, and the other is Evan Possey. I hope I'm pronouncing Evan's surname correctly. Of course, I've already reached out to both of them, and I hope to have them on this podcast soon. So, Katerina, your invite should be coming out as well, and I hope you'll be able to join us. So that's my answer. How about you, George?
Well, I don't know how relevant they would be to the podcast, but I mean, they're iconic and they're Greek and they also speak English, and I think they would be amazing on the podcast. And that would be my all-time favorite, one and only queen, Anna Vissi, who is like one of the biggest Greek singers ever created, ever born. I would have her on the podcast, and she could she travels around Greece a lot to all her concerts, and she could maybe sing a song or two. So Anna, if you ever listen to this, probably won't, but
don't say
Anna,
that, you never know. Yeah, George is
which means Anna, we live for you.
Yeah, I shouldn't be shocked though, because you are absolutely obsessed with Anna Vissi.
Obsessed.
Yeah, she
absolutely
is
obsessed.
I think she's probably one of the most famous pop singers that have ever existed in Greece. She's originally from Cyprus, but I think she moved to Greece at a very young age because her parents realized that she had such a great musical talent. I think she's got a star. Like she's got the star. She is the star.
No, she is the star.
She is.
Yeah.
Okay. So last question.
Okay.
What is your Greece bucket list in the near future, George?
Okay, near future, depends how near and how successful this podcast becomes, would be to sail around the Greek islands for 3 months on some sort of yacht or sailing boat. I mean, I'm not precious of what it is. That would be bucket list amazing, just to travel to all those islands you can't really get to and the beaches you can't get to. But a more realistic bucket list, and I've already sown the seeds for this, Maria. You probably realise when I say what it is, would be to climb Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
And go on like a 2-day trek of Mount Olympus, which sounds more daunting than it is. I don't think it's as hard as it sounds, but obviously it is climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
But that is on my bucket list.
So for our listeners, he's literally been constantly sending me posts about this climb to Mount Olympus. I am still trying to examine it in my head and trying to see if I could push myself out of my comfort zone to do it. I haven't reached a conclusion yet, so I'm not shocked that that's his bucket list. Mine, George, is Astipalea.
Oh, yes. We were going to go there this year.
And it just didn't work out. And also, I want to do a complex called the Small Cyclades, which I have done the majority of them except one. So this is a small complex of islands which are literally below Naxos, and they have such a charm. And I think I'd like to do them, but I'd like to do them off season and see and just see them through another lens.
So stay tuned for the next part where we have some quick fire round questions so you get to know both Maria and I that little bit better.
Okay.
So Maria, we ready? Quick fire round. You've got less than 30 seconds to answer these.
Ooh.
So it's like really quick and snappy. So the best place you have visited so far and one that you want to visit. And this is why I put it doesn't have to be Greece.
Okay, so not Greece. I'm going to answer not Greece because we've answered a lot of Greece. Best place that I visited so far. I'm torn between Colombia and Mexico. Colombia with an O, not a U. I've loved both equally and definitely want to go again. I am going to Mexico soon, so Colombia and Mexico is going to be my answer. I'm torn. Where I want to visit... again, I can't decide. Guatemala or India. India I've been before, but I really want to do it more extensively. It's definitely going to be one of those two.
So you proclaim to be a foodie. What are the 3 top dishes you look for on a menu?
Okay, non-dairy options.
Yeah. If there is dairy, then you just pack a Gaviscon or other brands.
Yeah.
Or Gavi.
Ceviche.
Which is also a wine, isn't it? Anyway. Yeah.
Ceviche is number 2. I absolutely love ceviche. And anything that's got matcha in it. My God, I absolutely love matcha. In a drink, in a dessert, anywhere. I just love it.
Okay, nice. And what would listeners get from going on a My Greek Island adventure with Maria? Basically, what makes you a good travel companion?
Well, they'll never go hungry, that's for sure.
That is very true.
and they will eat good food, drink good wine, and get a bit of storytelling on the way. And I mean, you know how we analyze stuff, George, as well.
Yeah.
You'll probably get a therapy session as well if you're lucky.
Yeah. I mean, the first year I did get a therapy session.
You did.
I was like, hello.
So, George,
okay.
tell me a bit about yourself.
Yeah. Oh, God. So spill the tea about Greece. What really gets on your nerves when visiting Greece? Let's face it, no country is perfect and neither is Greece.
Yeah, that's
so,
true.
What is it?
I think number 1 is the smoking. Greece is still a country that smokes a lot, and I mean you notice it the moment you exit the airport, everyone's just standing outside smoking, and it actually really, really bothers me.
How many islands have you visited?
Oh my God, I don't know when the last time I counted was. I'm definitely close to 40. I mean, last year I think I did 6 ones that I'd never been to before. So I was close to the 30-something mark, so I should probably be close to 40. I don't know. How about we do an Instagram quiz for people to guess?
Yeah, and we'll see if anyone's been listening that they might get one of the ones you mentioned, because you mentioned a few numbers. So
yeah,
cool. There's your 5 questions.
So my turn.
Ooh-hoo-hoo.
Right.
What are you going to ask me?
Let's see. So, first question. Tell me one thing that you cannot live without.
I can't live.
Oh my God. Other than Anna Vissi, he's also obsessed with Mariah Carey.
But it's actually not Mariah Carey. That just came into my mind. It's actually music. I can't live without music.
Right. That's very true.
So I'm always listening to music. So music I could not live without.
Cool. What rocks your boat?
In terms of on holiday or generally?
In January. Tell me one thing that really, rocks your boat in a positive way.
Good company.
Oh, so me.
Yeah. Having good company is so essential. Like, you could be anywhere. But if the company's bad, you might as well be at home. So yeah, good company rocks my boat.
Cool. What would someone gain from going on holiday with you? Definitely lose some calories, people, with the treks that he takes me on.
So I was gonna, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say early mornings.
That's true.
A program, as in a plan. So like things to do and activities and adventures. So, I do like to do some sort of adventure on holiday. Mm-hmm. And easygoing. I think I'm quite easygoing.
You are. You're definitely easygoing.
Yeah. So yeah.
Right. And I think I know the answer to this question, but if you had to eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Okay, what is it then?
What do I think it is?
Yeah.
Moussaka.
Yeah. It's literally moussaka or moussaka with feta cheese, like on the side, with a bit of oil on top. I could literally eat that every day. And whenever I go to Greece, my aunt has one ready for me to eat, whatever time of day I'm there. I mean, this year it was 4 a.m. and I didn't eat it. But yeah, it is moussaka. I absolutely love aubergines and moussaka. Yeah.
Okay. Last question. Why have you decided to run the Athens Marathon?
Because I'm crazy. No, why not? The Athens Marathon is actually named Athens Authentic Marathon. It's the authentic one. It's the original. And anyone running a marathon, I would recommend, I mean, I haven't done it yet, but recommend that Athens is on your bucket list of marathons to do. It's iconic. It finishes in the original Olympic Stadium. And apparently it changes your life. So I'm here living for the moment for my life to be changed. And currently regretting all the training, but that's why I'm doing it.
I don't think you should regret it.
No, I'm not regretting. I mean, the training is a lot. I don't regret it because I'm obsessed.
I must admit that I truly admire your dedication. Guys, he was actually running when we were on holiday. I was
getting up way too early.
He was getting up early and he was doing like a 5K run, and I was literally just like chilling while George was running. And then he also wanted to go like on these treks. I was joining in on the treks, but I was like, but dude, you've already run like 5K, and he was just up for it. So I do admire his dedication. And I have a surprise for you.
Oh, okay. What is it?
He already looks uncomfortable. I actually think that we need to do an episode where you can share your experience.
Okay.
From after once you complete the Athens Marathon, because I have no doubt that you are going to complete it, and you can share your experience with our listeners.
Fingers crossed. Once it's completed, at the moment we're experiencing full-on paranoia, which is like a paranoia leading up to marathon. It's still 2 months away. But yeah, once it's been completed and all is good, I will come back on. We'll do a little episode and talk about that experience.
Yeah, amazing.
Exciting times.
Right, my Greek Islanders. I think this comes to the end of this episode.
Hope you enjoyed getting to know us a little bit more. And see you on the next podcast. Right, my Greek Islanders. This comes to the end of another episode of this podcast.
Now you know the drill. If you like this episode, share it to share the love with the My Greek Island community, where everyone is welcome. And
don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. And maybe give us a little rating from wherever you're listening to us from, so you are notified every time a new episode drops. And if you have any suggestions or requests, get in touch.
And for those of you visiting Greece, don't forget to tag @MyGreekIsland on Instagram for a future feature. Until then, see you later, or as they say in Greek,
Ta leme.